Welcome to the 2016 Award Show Spectacular. I should insert a nice sound effect there.
Okay.
I think that everyone watching would really enjoy it.
I'm sure that they cheered themselves at home.
I hope so. As you can see, we put a lot of work into this.
Well, we're going to explain what we're going to do here. So we developed, we didn't count. There's 12, maybe 14 different categories of just different things that we experienced through the year. And we've picked our favorites out of pertaining to those categories. So we're going to go through them. Robert has my list. For most of the first ones, we kind of already know what each other picked because we did this yesterday.
Yeah, the idea yesterday was that she has my list and I have hers, and we would guess what the other person wrote down first, and then we would reveal it. Sort of a la Newlywed Game, if any of you teenagers have stumbled across that on YouTube. But that's just to say that we know what the answers are on at least the first page of our things, because that's when we checked the camera.
And we discovered that we had been talking to ourselves and to our neighborhood for
an hour.
A long time.
Yeah, an hour.
So anyways, I guess we can just start rolling through these.
This really is to your benefit, I think, because we spent a long time on the first couple of categories, and then we sort of picked it up once we got the feel of it.
We also, not all of these categories pertain to theme parks. There's 3 that don't. So just bear with us through the first couple.
Don't say that. That's not how you handle this. We are not just theme park people. See?
We like to eat,
you have to make it
so
sound
the first 3 are pertaining to restaurants.
And not everything is negative. See, we are connoisseurs on multiple levels. See, that's how you do it.
Okay, fine. Good. Okay, well, let's get going because we already were recording for 5 minutes in.
That says 3.5 minutes. We have a clock down here.
Yeah.
That's another thing we learned from yesterday, is that we should be timing ourselves.
Yes. Okay. So first category.
Ta-da!
Favorite local restaurant. For those of you that don't know, we're based in Williamsburg, Virginia. Therefore, we spend most of our time here. So, and because we are a tourist location, and because a lot of people come into town not only to go to Busch Gardens, but to go to Colonial Williamsburg and Jamestown and Yorktown, we figured this would be a good thing for people to know. And
while this is you're right, this is a tourist destination, a culinary mecca, it really is not.
No.
However, there are a few gems.
Yeah, sorry, I have a cat here, right here. And a kitten right here. So if you know where to go and you know where to look, you'll be able to find some stuff
there is good food
not
here.
A chain restaurant and is decent food.
Yeah, if you'd rather have something other than, say, Chili's or Applebee's, we got you covered right here. So, for favorite local restaurant, I guessed yesterday and was correct, I do believe. See, now I kind of don't remember what it was anyway, but I guessed Honey Butters, which is located down Monticello Avenue here in Williamsburg, and I was correct. Caitlin chose Honey Butters.
We go there quite often for breakfast, and they have really good stuff. Their corn cakes are really good. Robert gets the fried catfish sometimes. You like the Monte Cristo? The
Monte Cristo. Basically good American-style food, locally owned.
Okay.
And good good place to go, reasonably priced. You could take your family there for, what do you think, $40-50.
Yeah.
And get out of there.
And if you sit at the bar, Margaret's the best.
Looking at you, Margaret.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was in one of our vlogs, one of our very first vlogs.
She was. That's right. We were going out to King's Dominion.
We vlogged from Honey Butters, so go check that video out. I will link everything all the videos that we mentioned below, so if you want to check something out, I'll make it easy for you.
All right.
Robert's pick was Two Drummer Smokehouse, which I didn't even think of, but is definitely one of my favorite restaurants in town. It is a little bit further out. It's not in Williamsburg proper. It's more towards the Norge Toano end of town. I'd say maybe a 15-20 minute drive if you're in the heart of Williamsburg.
If you're in Williamsburg and you take 64 out to exit 227, to get out to Two Drummers, it'll take you about 20 minutes or so.
That's another locally owned restaurant that has really good stuff.
Barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue, meaning pulled pork, not burgers and hot dogs on a grill.
Yeah, that's not barbecue.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway.
Regional differences.
But good pulled pork, good brisket, and excellent ribs.
Yeah, and
excellent ribs.
They just updated their menu, so they have a few new things on the menu. The last time we were there? I got a pimento cheese sandwich with homemade bacon, and it was baller.
Actually, that was real good.
It was really good. So it's not all just meat. They have other stuff too.
Other things with meat.
Other things with meat. Probably not your most vegetarian-friendly restaurant. However, what they do have is really, really good.
And to be perfectly frank, if you're looking at us for vegetarian recommendations, go somewhere else, Stevie Wonder. You obviously can't see us.
Yeah. Sorry, Katie, if you're watching this. Probably not.
Okay, so that's first category. So this is how this works. Category number 2. Favorite new restaurant. Now we should note very quickly that when we say new in any of the categories here, we are not talking about new to 2016. We are talking about new to us.
Yeah.
And you want to go first, since
Sure.
We already know what the answer is.
So favorite new to us restaurant, actually for both of us, just for the sake of time, is a place in New Jersey near Fort Dix called Sebastian's Schnitzel House, which is hard to say, but is really, really good. We went there for the first and only time when we visited Six Flags Great Adventure up there, and we rely on Yelp a lot to offer to recommend places for us.
Yeah, when you travel, you don't know what's around there.
For some reason, we often gravitate towards German places, and Sebastian's Schnitzel House is just that. That's really hard to say. Anyways, we went in and we were greeted by probably...
There's got to be 1,000 dolls.
1,000 dolls.
There's got to be 1,000 dolls in this restaurant.
Lining the walls, lining the ceiling.
Here's an example of what I'm talking about, right? So I took a photo for Facebook inside of the restaurant. And you know how Facebook automatically recognizes faces, and it puts a little square around them so you can tag your friends?
There were hundreds of squares in the picture.
I mean, like, it looked like it was like a ghost.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy,
room.
but also kind of charming in that it kind of reminded me of, like, my grandma's house, in a way.
Yeah, with the ghosts.
Yeah, with the ghosts.
But seriously though,
Grandma's haunted house.
While the decor might leave a little something to be desired as far as, not creeping you out, the food was good.
The food was really good.
Food was excellent, and we had plenty to take home and put into our little mini fridge at the hotel.
Yeah, I got the stuffed cabbage platter, which came with stuffed cabbage, obviously, and some spatzel and...
Yeah. So,
Alright, well, we just got cut off, but anyway... I was talking about my delicious stuffed cabbage at Sebastian's in New Jersey, and you got sausage, and it was good.
Yeah, good prices, plenty to eat. So,
way to go.
If you're near Fort Dix,
DIX.
then make a stop over there.
Yeah. So continuing with our German theme, we did kind of a best overall out-of-town restaurant, and this is one we've gone to every single time we've gone to Carowinds. It's about, depending on where you're staying, about 15-20 minutes away from the park, and it's called the Waldhorn Cafe. It's in Pineville, North Carolina, and it's also a German restaurant, also extremely delicious, and also very good. Less creepy atmosphere, but the food is just as good.
The food is excellent, and not only do they have the same sort of favorites, the stuffed cabbage, they have roulades there. Their sausage platter is awesome. You can get an appetizer sausage platter.
Yeah, the gravy.
Their gravy's really good.
Yeah, and they make their own pretzel rolls, and they are delicious.
Yep.
So that is something that we do every time.
On top of all of that, their beer selection is pretty decent. And even beyond that, on Fridays and Saturdays, at least all the times that we've been there, there has been a balladeer
In
wearing
a lederhosen.
Lederhosen and with an accordion.
Yep.
So I have really enjoyed it. We have recommended the place to a number of other people.
Yeah, I actually had a coworker that was going down there for something else to visit a friend, and they went and they were like, "Oh my god, this place is awesome." So,
if you're going to Carowinds, it's like 10 minutes from the park.
Definitely worth checking out. And we'll go there again when we go down there next year or this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
So, Baldhorn, we love you. I also wrote a blog post about it, so if you want to go to offthetracksreviews.wordpress.com and check it out, go ahead.
This would be an excellent time for us to mention the rest of our social media. Because we have written about 15 blogs. We're not as good as that as we are at posting on our other social media.
We're busy, guys.
We also are on Facebook and on Instagram at Off the Tracks Reviews. And if you want to follow around with us while we're in the parks, you can get updates in real time on our Snapchat account, which is Off the Tracks Rev, REV. Next category.
Next category is the best bargain / money saver that we encountered this year. I think we both kind of agree on this.
I will say before we reveal what it is that I figured I knew what you were going to post on this, and so I cheated. I wrote 2 down.
He wrote 2, and one of them is what I said. So.
The best bargain, without question, for us has been the Busch Gardens Stein Club.
Yep.
This Stein cost us $40 at the beginning of the 2016 season, and we got $5 fill-ups inside the Brow House, which is inside the Fest House. And the Brow House was 30 rotating taps, all of them craft beer. $5 fill-ups beer in this 20-ounce Stein.
Stuff we can't get in the store either, which is nice. So, and considering a beer in the Brow House would cost you around $9.50 or so, not too shabby. It's something we definitely took part in, and unfortunately it is a limited offer. They are doubling the number of Steins for this coming season, so there will be 600 instead of 300. So that's good, but then again, they also allowed us to renew our Steins, so it's not going to be a brand new 600 people. It's going to be a little bit less than that. But anyway, point is, there is opportunity to get in on that, especially if you're a local. Busch Gardens in the Stein Club, the cheapest place to drink in Williamsburg.
It really is, and you know, on Busch Gardens' end, I mean, it did exactly what I'm sure it was intended to do. We as locals, who would go out to Busch Gardens on a regular basis anyway, without question, made the decision to go out there more regularly because we could stop.
And I would say that there were days that we went and we didn't ride anything. We just sat in the Brow House for a little while, drank some beers, and left. Walked around, and that's it. And you know what that equates to on Busch Gardens then is they're just getting money from us. We went there and spent money that we wouldn't have otherwise. Yeah. So definitely the best addition to Busch Gardens this year, I would say. And I'm definitely looking forward to next year. Yeah. So my secondary on this, my runner-up for best bargain, is something that I think that if you are a coaster enthusiast, or even if you're not a coaster enthusiast, but you like to travel every so often to ride new things, is at Cedar Point Amusement Park out in Ohio. It's not at the park proper. It's actually a Motel 6. There's a Motel 6 on Rye Beach Road, which is about 10 minutes from Cedar Point Park. And it is the cheapest hotel around there that is not in deplorable condition. We went the weekend before 4th of July, and things were hopping. It was the height of the season, I would say, and so it was a little more expensive than Motel 6s tend to be. However, it was updated, it was clean, and it served us perfectly well. It was close to the park. Yeah. There are hotels lining the road along, headed to Cedar Point. There's a Kalahari, there's a Great Wolf Lodge. Those are like $300 a night. This was $100. And I'm sure had we gone at another point in the season, it might have been even cheaper. So it wasn't bad at all. The mayflies were kind of gross, but other than that... the mayflies, which were not Motel 6's problem. No, that's just nature, but yeah, those were foul, but it's Northern Ohio. in June.
Yeah, but if you're booking a trip up there, I mean, unless you are rolling in it and you can drop $300 a night to stay at the Kalahari, no thank you, then definitely check out this Motel 6. It's a way to go.
Yeah, on Rye Beach Road. I don't remember if we said that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and
there's a pool too.
To get from the motel to the park, you just you head across the turnpike. You turn left onto 2, and you ride 2 for about 10 minutes, and you're at Cedar Point.
Yep.
All right.
Next category is favorite in-park food. We kind of already covered our favorite out-of-park food. We don't really eat full meals within the park, so this is kind of...
Except at Busch Gardens.
Yeah, Busch Gardens we will, but... You know,
yeah.
Cedar Fair prices are really expensive for what you get, food-wise. So
it's another thing. We are spoiled a lot with Busch Gardens being 10 minutes from our house. One of the ways that we're spoiled is that Busch Gardens food prices are way more reasonable than other parks in general. And I'm talking about not just Cedar Fair, but Six Flags parks, or
even before the pass member discount. They tend to be more reasonable. We're not dropping like $16 for 2 chicken fingers, some fries, and a drink. We're dropping $15 for like a plate of ribs.
Yeah, I mean, not even with the drink either. I mean, I think if you go out to King's Dominion or Carowinds or what have you, if you're going to get that chicken finger plate, chicken fingers, 2 or 3 of them with fries, $15.
And clearly, we do not participate in the meal plans, so that is something that we could potentially do differently. But we don't really want to, because we like trying different things. So we're not going to buy in on the park meal plans just because that's not something we're really interested in.
So that being said, here, for favorite in-park food, I had a good idea of what Caitlin's was going to be, and so this is what I guessed, and it turned out to be correct. The blue ice cream at Kings Island.
Yum.
Which, if you watched our Kings Island vlog, I incorrectly stated that it was probably at one time Banshee Blue ice cream. Banshee opening 2 years ago, or 2014.
Yeah.
It's 2017 now. But anyway, opening in 2014, and they still had this ice cream, but it was just blue ice cream. Well, turns out that's not true. They've had blue ice cream at this park for a while.
It's like an institution.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, blueberry flavored. I liked it. We also tried the red cream soda, which is a Ohio thing. Not such a fan of that, but the blue ice cream was...
I think it's all right. I like cream soda a lot. So this sort of cherry-ish cream soda...
I think probably the pairing with the ice cream was not the best.
It was a little much.
Yeah. All right.
And we're back again.
Guys, our camera cuts off at 10 minutes recording, and it's a pain in the ass. So anyways... let me set a timer up, because God knows I need to do that. Okay. We're back.
And we're back again.
So,
right.
We were talking about red cream soda when the camera so lovingly cut off. It's real sweet. It's alright. It doesn't pair well with blue ice cream, so that's really all you need to know. So Robert's favorite in-park food is something we've never eaten before.
Nope, I've never had it. I've never had it.
But
when I was thinking about this, I was like,
okay.
what is the one like in-park food that I talk about or think about every time I go to the park?
Yeah.
And this is Busch Gardens in Williamsburg.
And this is true. There is a stand right by Pompeii, and it sells tacos that are in cone form. So they look like an ice cream cone, but they're tacos. And they call them the taco cone, but we call them the tacone because why not? Anyway, we've never eaten them.
It seems like such an easy connection to make.
Yeah.
The Busch Gardens marketing team,
get on it.
You need us.
Allie,
you need
are
us
you there?
Right now.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's not what I thought he was going to say. I thought he was going to talk about the sausage platter at the Fest House, which is something we get on a fairly regular basis when you go out there. You get 3 sausages, 2 forms of sauerkraut, a roll, and some potatoes for like $12-ish, maybe. It's a really good deal.
It's entirely reasonable and splittable.
Yeah, you could eat it by yourself for a full meal, or we split it, and
I wouldn't recommend eating the whole thing and getting on Verbolten.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. But anyway, that's a favorite, and that's a really good deal as well.
Yep. So, next category.
Yes.
Next category is favorite spook house.
This, for us, unfortunately, is limited to 2 places. We only went to 2 haunt events this year. One was Hallow Scream, obviously, at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. We also went to Hallow Weekends at Cedar Point. That was incredibly underwhelming for me.
It was the first weekend that they were open for Hallow Weekends. But I have to say, yeah, it was not what I would have expected from a park like Cedar Point.
Yeah, and last year, we didn't get a chance to go to Haunt at King's Dominion this year, but last year Robert really loved it, and I was expecting, even more, because I feel like Cedar Point is higher in the hierarchy of the Cedar Fair chain.
Well, it's the flagship. I mean, it's the
so
number
I
one.
was expecting a lot more, and it just was kind of meh.
Yeah.
We were walking through the park, and the scare actors were talking to each other, like in little clumps and little groups. Whatever.
We went through one of the mazes, one of the spook houses, and that's really what we got, was walking through, and then they would be talking with each other. They'd see us, and they'd go,
Yeah.
It was much better. The getting into over towards Frontier Town through the steampunk section. That was much better than the spook house we waited in line for.
We went. What was it? It was the Bayou themed one. I don't remember the name of it, but
Blood on the Bayou or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway.
But what was really good was Caitlin's favorite spook house, which was Lumberhacht. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
Lumberhacht.
Yes, Lumberhacht at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg. A great outdoor maze that is themed to basically a campsite gone wrong, and people show up with chainsaws, and everybody loves chainsaws.
Yeah, it's just fun. The one night that we went through that stands out to me was when our friend got spooked and literally ran probably 100 feet in front of the group through the whole thing. So that was good. So I really like that. Roberts was the new spook house, Circo Sinestro, which was themed to a circus gone wrong, basically. It was pretty interesting. I know a lot of people were really nervous that it was going to be clowns. And there were clowns, but it wasn't just clowns. There was clowns, there was mannequins, there was
a knife thrower.
Yeah, a knife thrower, trapeze artist that lost limbs.
I really like the trapeze artist.
Yeah, it was really good. And I thought that the scare zone that went along with Circo Sinestro was also really good.
Yeah, although it was small, it was
very
limited
small.
to just the area out in front of Tempesto. But there was a fortune teller out there. There were there was a wind-up doll out there.
Some marionettes,
yeah,
which were really cool.
And then some, I don't know if I'd call them clowns, but they were sort of like clown goons.
They were like blank-faced. They had like the weird hair, and they had a
blank face, almost like Michael Myers sort of faced.
They had voice modulators, and so like they'd yell at you, but their voice sounded really weird. So it was really good. I thought it was really well done, and I would like to see that expanded next year.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if they kept it kind of in that one contained area, because there are so many people that do not like clowns. Like, that's like a big phobia, I would say. I know a lot of people that are scared of clowns. I used to be afraid of clowns too.
So our next category is a little more ethereal, in that the title of it is Best Experience, and this can be a little more difficult to explain. Maybe even it's a little bit vague, but this is something that is not necessarily tied to a ride, or maybe even necessarily to the interior of a park.
It's just something that happened this year that was our favorite.
Yeah, a good example of this is when we were waiting to get into Busch Gardens to get our steins this year.
Day. Yep.
We had to run to the Fest House in order to get it. Now, running is probably never going to be on our list of favorite experiences. However, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, having to run into the fest house,
like weird, not weird, but like just random things that happened throughout the year. So, Robert's favorite was took place when we went to Kings Island, and we met a gentleman named Gary Coleman. Not the Gary Coleman you're thinking of. This Gary Coleman has ridden Diamondback thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times, like 16,000 times ish.
Yeah, when we saw him this year, he had ridden over 16,000 times.
We saw him in line. He was wearing a T-shirt that said, "I have ridden Diamondback," however many times.
He is in our Kings Island vlog, so go check it out.
Yeah, so we ended up getting in line behind him, and Robert tapped him on the shoulder and he's like, "That's really incredible." And so he talked to us, and then he got on the ride before us and went through. And then when we got off the ride, he was waiting for us, so we chatted with him for a little bit. He was very nice. He's retired, and that's just what he does.
He goes to Kings Island and rides Diamondback.
Yeah. And I did the math, and I think I mentioned it in the vlog. Since Diamondback has opened, that means he has had to ride it over 2,000 times every year. And thinking that Kings Island only has a 6-month operational period, that's a really incredible feat. So thanks, Gary. And then also, as an honorable mention, and I guess I would put this as an honorable mention too, the Oreo churro at King's Dominion, the elusive, as the tacone is mythic in our world, the Oreo churro was a myth until we actually got to have one this spring at King's Dominion.
Every time that we went to last year, 2015, every time we went to King's Dominion in 2015, or any Cedar Fair park, we saw Oreo churro stands. But they were never open.
No.
Not once. And so finally, earlier this year, this is in our second King's Dominion vlog this year, we were able to try, finally, the Oreo churro, which was sort of just like a Hostess cupcake.
It was more of a warm-ish Hostess cupcake, and had it been served with milk, it would have been a lot better. But you know what? We got one.
That's
we
right.
learned, and our dreams are dashed, but that's okay.
That's right.
Sorry, I need to check this. Okay, we're good.
So, Caitlin's favorite experience is one that we did a whole vlog about earlier this year, which was getting.
I couldn't even remember.
Yeah,
okay.
it was getting lucky at Cedar Point, meaning that we showed up there the weekend before the 4th of July, and we walked onto rides.
Yeah.
We literally walked onto Raptor.
Why this is my favorite experience is the first time I went to Cedar Point, which was in 2015. We went the first weekend of Halloween, and that place was slammed. We only got to ride 5 things because the lines were so long, and we were there all day. So we waited 2 hours for Top Thrill Dragster. We waited 2 hours for Maverick. We waited an hour and a half for Millennium Force.
Yeah.
So when we got there and the sign said, half-hour wait for Raptor, and we literally walked right up to it and went on, I was so excited. So it was pretty great, and we were able to ride almost everything in one day.
Yeah,
we had a couple days there, so we eventually ended up riding everything. But yeah, that was definitely.
Yeah, and the only reason we didn't ride everything was because we got there in the evening.
Yeah, and
on that Friday
we ran out of time,
and we actually only went into the park that evening.
Yeah, we went at 5 o'clock
because we were like, well, it's going to be slammed probably. It's a Saturday. We'll just go and take pictures.
We lucked out. I'm glad we did that because the next day was blazing hot. But yeah, so that was a good. Our next category is favorite wooden roller coaster.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, so I guessed Robert's because he bought the T-shirt for it, which was El Toro. Not this T-shirt. He has an El Toro T-shirt, but it's at this park. At Great Adventure. Pretty incredible ride.
Yeah. I'll say this. Sometimes when I'm talking to people about roller coasters, which happens fairly regularly, and I talk about airtime, and people are like, oh yeah, I love airtime, you know, like riding Apollo's chariot. And I love Apollo's chariot, don't get me wrong.
Totally different.
But there is a serious difference between floater airtime, Apollo's chariot, and ejector airtime, El Toro. And if you are asking yourself, if you're saying, I wonder if I've experienced ejector airtime, then you, my friend, have not experienced ejector airtime. There is no question. If you have ridden a roller coaster and you said to yourself, I wonder if those restraints, if they had failed, if I'd have stayed on the ride, then you have not experienced ejector airtime.
It's pretty forceful.
I think you will agree, yeah. On El Toro, if you didn't have that restraint, your ass is going to be on the ground.
You get up that lift hill and the first drop, from the first drop to the end of the ride, it's intense.
Here is El Toro, here is your butt.
Yeah.
Like, and ne'er the two shall meet.
Yeah. We were standing watching it when we were up there, and you know, there's this girl, and she's like hands up on the first drop, and then by the second hill, she was like grabbing onto the restraint.
She literally was holding onto the side of the car.
It was really funny. Yeah. So it's a really fun ride. It's intense though.
Yeah, it's really, really great. You get the opportunity to go out to Great Adventure, then enjoy your ride on El Toro. Yeah. I should say enjoy your rides on El Toro, because you're going to want to ride more than once.
Yeah. So that's Robert's favorite.
Mm-hmm. Caitlin's favorite would... I got it wrong. I remember that I got it wrong, but I don't remember what I guessed.
You guessed El Toro, too.
Did I guess El Toro? Maybe that's just because I really love El Toro. But Caitlin's favorite Woody for 2016 was the Beast at Kings Island. And I gotta say, it is a very, very strong contender. Mm-hmm. If you watch the POV videos of Beast... and you can on YouTube as well, through Coaster Force or Theme Park Review.
And you just
type it in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like it's a really fun... I mean, I'll go so far as to say it doesn't look like it's a really fun ride. But it is. It is. It's an excellent ride.
It's old, and people complain about it all the time, but... they're wimps, and
yeah, that's what it really comes down to.
It was also my 50th roller coaster, so that's kind of why it beat out some of the other ones that we've ridden this year. But incredibly long, incredibly fun, and just a good ride. Not that rough. We did ride it in the front, however,
Yeah, we'll preface that with saying that we rode in the very front car. But at the same time, there are people on the internet. I'm looking at you, fanboy, a teenage fanboy who's only ever ridden one wooden roller coaster, apparently. If you're saying to me that Beast or El Toro are rough wooden roller coasters, why don't you haul your cookies down to Six Flags Over Georgia and take a ride on the Great American Scream Machine?
Yeah.
Because in comparison, we rode Scream Machine in the very front as well. And that thing tore us up.
Even, well, it's not a wooden coaster, but even Magnum XL200 at Cedar Point, we rode that in the front, and that puppy was rough too.
That was way rougher than Beast.
So many other rides. Vortex, for God's sake, at Kings Island.
Yeah.
There are so many other rides you can complain about, but Beast, I don't think, deserves the crap it gets.
As far as... Now, there is a difference between intensity and roughness. El Toro is a very intense ride, but as far as being rough, it is butter smooth.
Yeah, I don't...
It doesn't make any sense to complain about them being
People
rough.
also complained about Mean Streak, and I thought Mean Streak was fine. Maybe I'm just too tough.
Maybe so. But then again, if Mean Streak Henry, who is in his 70s, can ride it 1,000 times a year, maybe you just need to toughen up, Buttercup.
Yeah, maybe. Alright.
Alright, we got just a couple of minutes before we need to check the monitor again, so we're going to go on to Favorite Steel. This is an easy one for us. Fury 325.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. We were saying yesterday, yeah, it's a tall ride. Yeah, it's a smooth ride. It's brand new. It's the new toy for everybody who's here on the East Coast.
Fast.
Yeah, this ride.
So fast.
It's just so incredibly
great.
fast.
And you've heard
speed. It's ridiculous.
You've heard us go on and on about it in our vlog, and you know, yeah, it's good stuff.
And even beyond that, I mean, we have ridden it in pretty much every row. Not every seat in every row, but pretty much every row.
Yeah,
there's not a bad ride in the house.
No matter where you are, you're gonna get a good ride on that thing.
So good.
Yeah.
Tell us when you are going to Carowinds, and we will try and come down and meet you just to ride it with you.
Yeah.
We lamented not being able to get down to Carowinds this year because we really wanted to go. But why
we weren't gonna go for Scarowinds, so.
Yeah, why do we want to go to Scarowinds? It's to ride Fury.
Yeah.
That's why.
Okay. The next category.
We're moving on into the bottom of the page. So neither of these, I don't think.
Yeah, we didn't talk about these yesterday. So.
But this is our favorite non-roller coaster ride. So, for example, this could be. Some contenders
ride.
for me would be a flat ride or a transport ride. So like the train at Busch Gardens, or the train anywhere for me is a fun ride.
The Zephyr at Dorney Park.
Oh, that was an excellent ride. I didn't even think about that when we were
I just remembered it.
Oh, that was great, but it wouldn't have won the category.
No.
And then another or your classic monster ride. You know, the octopus flat ride.
Yeah, battering ram.
Pirate ships, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
All super duper fun. But I know what wins.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna win for you, and I just looked at it. Is Monster Mansion at Six Flags Over Georgia. Did you look at mine?
Did I look at yours?
No.
No, I didn't. But I did now because I flipped it down.
Yeah.
Anyways, Caitlin put down Monster Mansion as well.
Yeah.
And y'all, we have a POV video of the Monster Mansion.
It's silly, but it's just fun. You know. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world. It's like, you know, I would say kind of a kitschy dark ride that you just go through. It opened in the late 70s?
Yeah, it's a little boat ride. And I'm not sure when it opened. I think it opened in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
I think it opened in the late 70s as the Okefenokee Swamp, and then was repurposed as Monster Plantation, and then I think in 2009 went through.
They redid it. Or they
went through a remodeling,
yeah.
And now it's called Monster Mansion. All right, fine. Some of these animatronics are old as dirt. Some of them I don't think even work.
Yeah, but it's just fun.
The premise is that you have been invited to a party at the Monster Mansion, and you go in and you see the monsters having a party. Some of them are doing things like playing horseshoes. You know, they got a little horseshoe ringing around their neck. There's a kissing booth with a monster with giant lips. There is Sheriff. They call him now Sheriff Billy Bob Fritter. And then, of course, things go awry, and you go into the Monster Marsh, and you see the mean monsters, and then you make your way out through the end.
Yeah, it's a happy ending for everyone, and the damn catchiest song you will ever encounter.
Yeah.
Like, It's a Small World has nothing on.
You're invited to a picnic. Monster picnic, but humans are allowed today.
There you go.
Join the monsters at the
Copyright.
mansion. They're going to copyright that.
Yes, they will.
So, I mean, that might be copywritten, but they're not going to pick it up off of that.
Anyways.
As good as that rendition was.
Oh my god. Yeah, so Monster Mansion wins that category for us.
We have finally made it
to the second
page number 2,
which we didn't go over yesterday.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 categories left. Getting into the big ones. So we do not know what each other chose on this sheet of paper. So this should be fun. Right. Our first category here is favorite new ride.
New to us ride.
So here is new to us now. Of course, none of the Six Flags Over Georgia rides are going to count here. But here
for him, they were all new for me.
They were all new for her. But here are the new roller coasters that we rode. The new ones we rode this year. Bizarro, Dark Knight, El Toro, King Ka, Nitro, the Mine Train at Six Flags Great Adventure, Joker, I rode, you didn't, Valraven, Talon, Hydra, the Wild Mouse, this is Dorney Park, Steel Force, Thunderhawk, Stinger, I rode that, you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't.
Beast, Diamondback, Banshee, Bat, Vortex, Racer, Adventure Express, Daredevil Dive, Dahlonega Mine Train, Batman, Mindbender, Goliath, Georgia Cyclone, Georgia Scorcher, Scream Machine, Blue Hawk, and Nighthawk.
Nighthawk. Also, we forgot Blue Streak.
We did forget Blue Streak.
Yeah,
That was
but
the new
Blue
one
Streak
for us
was
this
one
year.
we didn't. We
At Cedar
rode
Point
for the first time this year.
So, favorite new ride for the year. Favorite ride. There was a new
was new to
experience
us.
for us.
I don't even remember what I said for this, and I don't know what you would say.
I think that your favorite new ride. I don't remember what I put down either, but I think I know what it is. Anyway, I think it's Banshee.
Oh yeah, yours is Banshee too. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Banshee.
Yeah. All right. So Banshee at Kings Island. Let's just start real quick by saying that it would take a lot, and I mean it would take a lot, to dethrone Alpengeist at Busch Gardens.
As your favorite invert.
That's my favorite invert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alpengeist has sat at the top as far as inverts is concerned. That is up against Raptor, much to the chagrin of Cedar Point fans, Talon, Dorney Park fans, and many others. But
Banshee.
there is no question in my book. Banshee has all of the intensity of the smaller rides, but it's got all of that hang time, that lag time of the others, and it's got that 0G roll at the very end, which is
that's great.
Which
I like
is
that one.
An excellent way
and
to
the
end.
restraints on it are great.
Let's talk real quick about the restraints.
Yeah.
So for every other invert that I've been on, it has the hard restraints. So Griffin style restraints, Alpengeist style restraints. They're all the same. Well, these Banshee restraints are soft here, and they have hard bars that come out over and click down at the
waist.
The waist, yeah. And holds you in more by your legs than by your upper body. And for somebody who's got a 50-inch chest, that is prime.
Yeah. I don't have to push them into it.
That's right. and even beyond that, I think overall it's just more comfortable. I think it's more comfortable to be held at the fulcrum of your
not,
waist.
On Alpengeist, there's that second brake block where you're like, if you're not expecting it, your head's gonna hit the side of the restraint, and you don't have that problem with this. You don't have that sudden brake block anyway. But had those restraints been on Alpengeist, I think there'd be a lot less complaints about it.
I agree. Banshee number one. That's another ride. It's like Fury. You tell me when you're going to be at Kings Island, and we'll see if we can't get out there and ride it with you.
Yeah.
It is that good.
We like it.
That good.
Okay. Woo.
Next category should be a given here.
Yeah, our favorite overall ride. That could be coaster. That could be anything. It's Fury. Yeah.
Fury 325, Carowinds. Talk about an investment.
Good job, Cedar Fair, for sticking that puppy down there, because I had never really even heard of Carowinds until 2 years ago when we went, and now I've been several times. Have taken the time to drive the 6 hours and all
If you have been to King's Dominion and ridden Rebel Yell, or if you've ridden Racer up at Kings Island, they had down at Carowinds in 2015, they closed their racing roller coaster called Thunder Road. And we had gone up there earlier in the year to ride Fury. But when they said they were closing Thunder Road, not only did we need to get down there to ride Thunder Road, but it gave us...
This was in 2015, by
That's what I said, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I think I said that. Anyways, anyway, when they said they were going to close Thunder Road, it gave us every excuse to get down there to ride Fury.
We went twice in 2015.
So I think in that instance we went down, we rode Thunder Road once.
Yeah.
And got the credit for it.
Several.
And then went and rode Fury
rides, many
times.
Yeah.
And then went to the Waldhorn.
Yeah, I mean, so there you go. That's really, if you want us to come visit anywhere, put in a decent roller coaster and some good food, and we'll be there.
I mean, you won't even have to ask us.
No, we'll just show up. We don't need an invite. All right, up next, favorite new to us park. Somewhere we had never been before, and we will likely go back to, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we said the same thing, but I
think
know.
that we probably did. So very quickly here, the new parks that we went to this year, there were
5?
Oh, there we go. Kings Island, Dorney, Great Adventure, Six Flags Over Georgia for Caitlin. We went to the Ocean City parks, which included Playland and Castaway Cove, because we were going to try and ride Gale Force, but it was not open at all this year, which would have been a brand new roller coaster, by the way. And then also here locally in Williamsburg, we did go to Go Karts Plus, which I'm counting as a new park because I'd never been there before.
I'd never been there either. We didn't really do anything. We just kind of walked around, but hey, it counts.
And just in case you're wondering, the other parks we visited also, of course, Busch Gardens Williamsburg, Carowinds, Kings Dominion, and Cedar Point, all of which we had been to last year. But of the new ones this year, let me tell you, Great Adventure, great park for roller coasters, not so great for walking around. Or
it's really big. It was hot when we were there.
And the layout is confusing, too.
Yeah, the safari was cool, but it was like 10,000 degrees when we were out there. So, yeah.
Yeah, that safari is really great, but I understand when you're out on the plains that you don't get a lot of shade. Yeah. That's totally understandable. However, when you're standing in line for it, there needs to be some cover. Yeah, it was really unbearable, and we weren't even in line that long.
No, we weren't. But we did it, and I liked Great Adventure.
I liked it as well. Six Flags Over Georgia, my home park from when I was a child. It's a great shaded park, but Six Flags Over Georgia just don't. It's pretty clear that they're just not looking after those rides,
and they're not high enough in the hierarchy of the Six Flags chain to get any love. I think we complained in the video about the lack of merchandise. It's all Looney Tunes and all superheroes, which is fine to most people.
You want to know two people who would buy a Monster Mansion t-shirt?
We would. Here. But anyway.
In addition to that, Ocean City. Well, we didn't really ride anything in Ocean City, and the reason we went there. It's fun to walk on the
boardwalk.
Yeah.
And the reason we went there wasn't even close to being finished.
No, Gale Force was not open. Hopefully it'll be open this year. If you ride it, let us know. And then Go Karts Plus, small park, but it's not going to be at the top of the chain. For me, the two contenders in the new parks list were Kings Island and Dorney Park. I am going to guess, based on the fact that you put Beast and Banshee as your favorite Woody and favorite Steely for the year, or favorite new ride of the year, that Kings Island was your pick. Yeah. Am I right? Yes, I'm right.
Okay, so that's Robert's favorite as well. Kings Island is very similar in certain aspects to King's Dominion, but it's not in our backyard, so it was a lot more novel and fun to go to, and I enjoyed it. I really liked Dorney as well, a smaller park. However, unlike Kings Island, I don't feel the need to go back anytime soon unless they add something new.
That is.
I like Hydra was great. I really liked. I think
Steel
Force was really surprising in how much I did enjoy that one as well. But I don't really need to go back there until they build a Fury or something different.
I have to say that I think that that's really what it came down to for me. There's just not really a reason for me to go back there. I thought Steel Force was. We don't have a category for a surprise ride of the year. Yeah, maybe that should have been one. Yeah, that would have been mine.
I would totally agree with that.
Steel Force.
I was expecting Hydra to be cool, and I was expecting Talon to be, fine. But I was really surprised how much I liked Steel Force.
Yeah, Talon and Hydra and Steel Force all together are solid, like 7.5, maybe even 8 points out of 10 rides. But there's just nothing there at Dorney to really give it that final oomph.
Yeah.
And boy, is there with Banshee.
Yeah. I probably would have felt the same way about Kings Island had Banshee not been there. I would have felt the same way about Carowinds had Fury 325 not been there.
Yeah.
I would say probably the same for King's Dominion if I-305 or Volcano or whatever wasn't there. I just don't feel the need to go back anytime soon.
But, you look at what's coming up in 2017, and Kings Island is getting a new wooden roller coaster. Dorney Park is not.
They're getting, new flat rides?
Yeah.
So
and Carowinds is getting new flat rides too.
yeah,
but
and I mean they did just have a banner year a couple years ago, but I do feel, and I feel people's pain that where Dorney is their home park and they say we don't get anything. I can see that and I understand that frustration.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we went, and it was a lot of fun.
If you find yourself near Allentown, it's totally worth.
Oh yeah,
even just a half a day.
And you have a pass, yeah, definitely go.
But like we were saying, you know, there's not really a reason for us to go back there anytime soon.
It's not the redheaded stepchild of the Cedar Fair chain, but it's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Michigan's Adventure is the redheaded stepchild.
In Valley Fair.
And Valley Fair.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we're going to check this camera because we're getting into our final two categories.
All right. So next up.
I was wrong. There's only
one more category.
There's only one more category, and then there's a bonus category that we made. So here is the big one. Number one category. Here is your best picture. Here is favorite park. This is overall.
Shocker.
This is for those of you who have made it this far in the video with us. Thanks for riding it out. But this is not going to really surprise anybody. I know what it is already.
Yeah, our favorite park.
Our favorite park is Busch Gardens, Williamsburg.
It's 10 minutes away. Ding.
Yeah, but
it's beautiful. Ding. It has good food, good shows. Good rides.
Great rides. It's a world-class park.
Yep.
And
it's in our backyard, and we're really lucky that we have it here.
I mean, I'll tell you this much. You know, there are so many of our friends who don't go to other parks. Even say down over to King's Dominion, which is also a good park. Mm-hmm. But there is something else about Busch Gardens. Not only do you have Apollo's Chariot that we mentioned earlier, mm-hmm. and Tempesto, which is right next door to it, a Premier Ride Skyrocket 2 model. You have also Griffin. You got Verbolten, which is a dual launch coaster with a special surprise that I won't ruin for you.
What's
if you haven't
in
read
the shed?
Yeah, I think that. By the way, I think that's what's in the shed, just for the record. But also. There's the classic Loch Ness Monster. Not only the only functioning interlocking loops roller coaster, but also an aero roller coaster.
And an Ace Landmark.
An Ace Landmark. And coming around this year is a brand new Invader, Great Coasters International ride.
The first wooden roller coaster at Busch Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Ever, which is pretty cool. I grew up going to Busch Gardens Williamsburg, so it definitely holds a special place in my heart when we would get those. Our neighbor worked for the brewery, so we got comp tickets every year, and we'd go. And I still remember hearing the clicks of that second lift hill on Loch Ness Monster, where you kind of go around and you're going click, 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 click. I still remember hearing that and like the echo of it. There's just like a specific sound, and I just like associate that sound with like being an excited kid. So I think there's a lot of nostalgia there for me, and then. We have our own, history with the park, too, and so it's a lot of fun.
We had our Steins this year.
We had our Steins.
We also, it's a place where we go with our friends on a very regular basis. Mm-hmm. It's a place where we run into friends on a very regular basis.
Yeah, and it's like a secondary hangout for a lot of the people we know and we work with, and we often will go to the park just to go get beers at the Brow House or to get something to eat. I know people whose age range from people way younger than us, mm-hmm. in teens, 20s, all the way up to people who are in their 60s and 70s. They just go
to the park,
go to walk around,
to hang out.
It's definitely a place that you can go and just walk around, don't ride anything, don't necessarily have to see any shows, and you feel like you had an experience just because it is so beautiful, and it does have that reputation for being the most beautiful theme park. And I mean, I would definitely agree with that.
We love it.
Yeah.
Keep it up, Busch Gardens.
Speaking of people who it never occurred to them to go to other parks, that was me for a really long time. We'd go to King's Dominion, but that was like on the off chance.
And when you go to other parks, you really get the sense of how lucky you are to have this place right here.
So anyway, Busch Gardens is obviously the winner.
You know, good customer service, and also we touched on this a little bit, but good food, reasonable prices. Not only the Fest House, but also the Smokehouse, Trapper Smokehouse.
The Marco Polo.
Brand new.
Italy.
And I've heard people say nothing but good stuff about the Marco Polo food, and we've had some of it.
So you know, just a good place to go. Now that's not to say that there are some things that we were disappointed in this past year, and we touched on those in our other vlogs.
But overall,
definitely the best.
Number one.
Number one.
Without a second thought. And I have to say, if we didn't live here, I think it'd still be number one. I really do. I really do think that.
Yeah.
So, anyway. To hopefully, if you've made it this far with us, you might be interested in, and that is what our favorite vlog was this past year for Off the Tracks. And
I think I just looked, and we listed the same one.
Did we?
Yeah.
Our favorite vlog was What's 10 More Feet?
That's our Griffin video that we filmed the day before Valraven opened. I'm wearing this shirt in that video. But we went out to Busch Gardens to ride Griffin one more time while it was still the tallest and fastest dive coaster in the Western Hemisphere. So
we were corrected, and rightfully so. It was not the tallest dive coaster in the world, but it was the tallest and fastest in the Western Hemisphere. And so we went out while it was still holding the record and did a short vlog. It's about 15 minutes long.
Yeah, we rode it like 4 or 5 times that day. I really like Griffin. It kind of jockeys back and forth with a Polished Chariot as my favorite at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, just depending on what kind of mood I'm in. But yeah. I like that video a lot.
I like it too.
So go watch it.
Please check it out. Make sure you comment, and if you like what you see,
subscribe. Sorry, I was looking at my finger.
We got to try the handoff again. Here we go. Make sure you check it out, and if you like what you see,
subscribe.
That was good.
All right, and then very quickly, let's talk.
We have. Oh,
are we going to do questions, or are we going to talk about?
That's what I was going to do.
Okay, we do have 2 questions from viewers. We didn't get very many, even though we asked for them. One of them was kids parks.
Was from Daniel.
Yeah.
Hi, Daniel. I hope you're watching. If asked about particularly kid-friendly parks or sections in parks.
And you're in northern Georgia. I would say Six Flags Over Georgia is a good place to go.
There, not only do they have Not only do they have the classic kids area, they also at Bugs Bunny Boomtown, but they also opened up a DC Super Friends area this year that is exclusive to children. They converted the Wile E. Coyote Canyon Blaster roller coaster into the Joker roller coaster. It's a kids coaster. Adults can ride with the kids on that ride. There's also a Superman Power Tower. I don't know what it's called right offhand. And there's also the air racer. What are they called? Where you can move the rudder.
Oh yeah, the Flying Eagles.
Flying Eagles. I think that's what they're called.
There's also at Six Flags Over Georgia. There's the Dahlonega Mine Train, which I think is a great first coaster for a lot of kids.
It's mine.
Yeah. And there's all sorts of stuff you can do with kids. I would say also pretty much any Cedar Fair park is going to have their Peanuts area that's devoted specifically to kids. King's Dominion's expanding theirs this year. There's a lot that kids can do there. I remember the Kings Island Peanuts area, I think, was pretty big and pretty extensive. They all have a lot of similar stuff, but I think that the Cedar Fair chain, the closest one to North Georgia would be Carowinds.
And if you are interested in going to ride Fury, I would say that the kiddie area in Carowinds is not only significant, but it has its own roller coaster as well.
It has a couple.
There's a wooden one too?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, but there is definitely an inverted flying aerial chase ride. So it's a dangly coaster that's made for children, and you can ride with the kids as well. I couldn't ride with the kids, but you probably could.
Yeah, and then Busch Gardens Williamsburg has a Sesame Street area that is super kid friendly. They also have a roller coaster, which we have ridden. without children. And there's other rides in the park that are definitely kid friendly. They have like little spinning Clydesdale rides, and also just regular flat rides that anybody can go
Busch
on.
Gardens does a pretty good job of spreading. Not only is there the Sesame area, but they have rides that kids can ride throughout the park.
And there's Land of the Dragons too, which is like a giant playground.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. So there's a lot of kid-friendly things to do around, and you happen to live close to one of the best, I would say. Or one of the best that we've visited.
Yeah, I think so. Question number 2.
Yes.
That we received. Of 2.
Yes.
Of 2 questions.
Yes! It was an Instagram question. I'm sorry, I don't have your username in front of me right now. But it was, where can you buy coaster merchandise not at the park? This is kind of tough because a lot of parks don't have the most extensive online stores.
It's funny to me that they don't. The truth of the matter is that I don't know of any particular stores online where you can purchase roller coaster merchandise.
Yeah, they're if you're talking like T-shirts and stuff like that, I'm not sure. There is one store called Made to Thrill, which is like, this guy makes minimalist art based on different roller coasters, and I think those posters are pretty cool, and you can get stuff from there. But like, in terms of getting something that you might be able to purchase in a park, eBay.
Yeah, that's about as good as I can give you.
The Busch Gardens online store is not the best. They have some like kind of the higher end things that you can buy in the park on there, but in terms of like if you want to get a T-shirt or keychain or whatever, it's not going to do you any good. I'm not sure if you are able to call parks and purchase stuff over the phone and they would ship it to you. I'm not sure if that's an option. That might be something to explore. But other than eBay and kind of the places that are not associated with parks, I'm not sure where the best place to go would be.
Part of the culture, though, if you would permit me to use such a term, also, though, is that when you go somewhere, it'd be sort of like buying a magnet for Niagara Falls, but not going.
Never going to Niagara Falls, yeah.
So I recommend that instead of looking to purchase items for a place that you haven't been, consider making the trip. I will say this: there was no place that we went this year that I thought was not worth the trip going.
At least once.
Even we talked about how Dorney is not a place where you would necessarily make a trip to go, but I really enjoyed our trip there. Even though I would say that there are other places that would be better for a family vacation, or even just a couple's weekend retreat.
Right.
But at the same time, I really love my Great Adventure shirt that we got a good bargain on.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I didn't, because I accidentally bought a child size.
But this is just a souvenir for me. Eventually, someday it's going to wear out, and I'll have to turn it into rags or throw it away. And hey, we'll have another reason to go back out to Great Adventure.
Yeah. I would also kind of like, I used to have a Yale t-shirt that I would wear around. I never even went to Yale. I just bought it at some store, and that was really lame. So
you never told me that.
This was when I was in high school. I liked the Gilmore Girls, and Rory went to Yale, so there you go. Anyways, I would kind of liken to, if you're gonna buy something off the internet and wear it around, make sure you've had the experience.
Or at least watch our videos about it.
Yeah, there you go.
Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah. So anyways.
All right. One last item on the agenda for today.
Our hopes and dreams for 2017. We've been talking a lot about it. I think one thing we are definitely going to do.
I like how you said that. Definitely going to do.
We're going to a wedding in August in Boston, so I think we might try to do Lake Compounce and Six Flags New England, which neither one of us have been to before.
If you have been to Six Flags New England or Lake Compounce, be it in August or otherwise,
let us know.
Let us know. Make sure that you let us know what we should do. I'm really looking forward to Boulder Dash, and by that time, I think it'll still probably be one of the closest RMC Rocky Mountain construction
Wicked
coasters
Cyclone. Wicked Cyclone,
to us. So that we have not ridden an RMC, so that might be our first.
Yeah, and speaking of that, also, I think we're gonna hope to get out to possibly Dollywood, also Hershey Park, and Kentucky Kingdom. Those are 3 parks that we did not get to in 2016 that we definitely hope to get to in 2017.
That's right.
And I think maybe what might happen is we might combine a Kentucky Kingdom, Kings Island trip, maybe Holiday World.
Perhaps Holiday World,
we'll
too.
see. There's a lot going on right now, so depending on how much time we're going to be able to get off and how much vacation we've accrued, then that will depend, that will drive what we're able to do. However, those are things that we definitely want to do and that we didn't get to do this year.
Chances are very good also that we'll take another trip back up to Cedar Point. And chances are really, really good that you will find us down at Carowinds and, of course, at King's Dominion. Or if you happen to be in the area, you'll probably run into us at Busch Gardens.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that that's pretty much it. This is probably going to be a pretty long video. So if you've made it to the end, thank you for watching. Like Robert said earlier, don't forget to subscribe and go check out our other social media. We'll be posting things throughout the off season, so don't worry about there being a lack of content. And we're going to try to figure out some different videos that we can do while we don't have access to the parks. So, with that,
have a great off season. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.